She looks at me every day. Mary Jane Watson. Oh boy.
Watch to the end if you want to see me dance with Peter Parker!
Hey guys, it's Zruize, and I'm here today to talk about Spider-Man. Now, if you've watched my videos before, you know that I'm a huge Sam Raimi Spider-Man Stan, and I have the correct opinions on everything. Now, Spider-Man, a couple weeks ago, as we all know, was pulled from the MCU back to Sony. Many people are freaking out about this, but you know what I'm doing?
Pizza, 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 pizza. Spider-Man back home. You'll get Spider-Man back home when you fix this damn door!
Now you might be saying,
"You just suck Sam Raimi and Tobey Maguire's dick. You just get your opinions from Alex at Hitop Films and you're just a dumb 14-year-old Stan with no life."
This video is about exploring the possible opportunities Spider-Man has going forward. And yes, I do think Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi should get one last chance.
Pizza time.
To be quite honest, I'm not even talking about a Spider-Verse movie. I think it should be a Tobey Maguire and Sam Raimi and the rest of the cast solo movie. Spider-Man 4 or whatever they call it. Not Spider-Verse, just Tobey and Sam Raimi. But we're gonna need to explain why this needs to happen. Now listen, I like Tom Holland's Spider-Man to a certain extent. I thought Spider-Man Homecoming was a pretty good movie compared to the Garfield movies and of course Spider-Man Far From Home, though Homecoming does have its issues. But then the new MCU movies started to come out. Seeing how Tony Stark was the lead in these movies, which isn't a problem at the least, but in my opinion this is kind of what ruined Spider-Man in the MCU. Now, Iron Man is a fantastic character. The way Marvel Studios was able to bring this super unpopular Avenger to the MCU first before anyone else and make him today one of the most beloved characters in cinema, that was truly incredible. But let's switch here. Because Spider-Man was also such a popular character, they decided to merge them into basically a father-son relationship. Having Iron Man steal the role of Uncle Ben in these movies completely ruined them for me. Spider-Man relying on Iron Man 24/7 was just plain annoying. You can't replace Uncle Ben because he's the entire drive Peter has to continue being Spider-Man. So at least acknowledge he exists besides putting a name on a suitcase. To add on to that, Iron Man giving Spider-Man so much technology also ruins his character because he's able to achieve whatever he wants without any effort anymore. In the Raimi movies, Sam Raimi was able to make it so Tobey's Spider-Man has barriers. He was flawed. He was much more human. It felt like a real story, and that's what kids need to be taught and need to be learned in the newer Spider-Man movies.
Am I not supposed to have what I want? What I need? What am I supposed to do?
We don't need Tom Holland to have so much technology to be cool. He doesn't need to have Tony Stark by his side 24/7 because he's supposed to be alone. That's what Spider-Man 2 taught us. There's a clear moral story. Now I think Far From Home did at least something right. By the end of the movie, they knew Spider-Man couldn't replace Tony Stark. But if that's the case, why would they wait 2 movies to finally come to the conclusion that he can't be Tony Stark?
Look at little
Iron Boy
Junior. Gonna cry?
I felt like watching all those movies that they're just waiting for him to be the next Iron Man. Do you see his Spider-Man suits? They make no sense. He's literally Iron Man. Uncle Ben means nothing in this story, and that is a huge problem in my opinion. I thought Spider-Man Far From Home, to be honest, was an utter mess. But in the bigger picture, Sony did make a better Spider-Man portrayal. Now let's talk about why this move back to Sony is pretty good, actually. Now, although Spider-Man 3 you may say was disappointing, and the Garfield films were obviously not great, but let's see what Sony did since then. Spider-Man Into the freaking Spider-Verse.
I am so high, I can hear heaven.
This movie destroyed Spider-Man movies, the MCU ones. And in my opinion, it is the only great Spider-Man movie. since
I'm gonna put some dirt in your eye.
Spider-Verse got Spider-Man completely right. They didn't feel like they were controlled by another character. They felt relatable. They felt alone, which is what a Spider-Man story needs, at least to the human side of things. And I really cared for every single character in Spider-Verse. I wanted them to succeed. I understood all their motives, and I just had a blast watching it. Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, which of course was made by Sony, really showed what Sony can do. In my opinion, all the top 4 Spider-Man movies were made by Sony.
Oh boy, yeah.
Spider-Verse also proved that Sony isn't greedy for money anymore. They've moved on from pushing directors for more villains and really focus on the character. And in my opinion, if you bring back Sam Raimi with Sony, they could really make an incredible Spider-Man movie. Maybe even better than Spider-Man 2. Now you may be saying,
"You bitch. How do you know Sony's done with pushing directors for more villains? We need Tom Holland and the MCU. Tobey and Raimi were bad because the CGI wasn't as good."
Now whoever comments that last part is banned from this channel forever. Well, truly I don't know that Sony's moved on, but what I saw from Spider-Verse, and I even think Sony realizes this too, what we got from the Holy Trilogy also is what Sony wants again. But Sam Raimi also has gone on record saying he thinks about Spider-Man 4 all the time. And this is if Sony does the movie right, in the way Sam Raimi wants to make the movie. So this plan obviously brings back Tobey Maguire, the God, the Pizza Time, and the rest of the cast. You may be saying,
"But Tobey's too old for Spider-Man."
you see, that's where we can get an older Spider-Man story. None of the Spider-Man movies have really gone deep into the character of an older Peter Parker. And Tobey Maguire, in my eyes, would just be the perfect actor to try this out with. He was Spider-Man when he was a bit younger, you know, everybody loved Tobey Maguire, and having him come back would just be so triumphant. He could have kids at this time, he could have retired from Spidey and come back. No matter what the idea is, it will work if it's done right. Now by done right, I mean this. So no studio interference. This can only be 1 and maybe 2 villains. Sam Raimi must direct the movie. It must have a 10 out of 10 script that can get approved on Reddit with Spider-Man 1 and 2 skills. We can't have any other superheroes interfering. It just has to be another human Spider-Man movie, a human Spider-Man story about the lonely hero. How does he feel about being Spider-Man again? Does he want to? How does he deal with it? In conclusion, this move back to Sony just gives the character of Spider-Man so many opportunities to really shine like in the past.
I still want Spider-Man back.